Hello and welcome back to Pueblo Programming. In today's video, we're going to be looking at variables in Java programming. In Java, there are three common types of variables. First are local variables, second, instance variables, and third, class or static variables. Local variables. Local variables are declared in methods, constructors, or blocks. Local variables are created when the method, constructor, or block is entered, and the variable will be destroyed once it exits the method, constructor, or block. So local variables are some of the more common variables that you will see in Java programming, and one of the first variables that you would likely instantiate or use in your Java program. Here's a good example of a local variable. If you see age in bold letters right here, it is within a class here, within the public class ageCalc, and that would be an example of an instantiated local variable because you have equals whatever it is here, some value. Next are instance variables. Instance variables are declared in a class but outside a method, constructor, or any block. When a space is allocated for an object in the heap, a slot for each instance variable value is created. Instance variables are created when an object is created with the use of the keyword new and destroyed when the object is destroyed. And one thing to look out for is that you have to have this keyword new if you're planning to make an instance variable. And they can be declared within a method, constructor, or block, unlike your local variable. So a good example, this is just an excerpt from a bigger piece of code, so that's why I have this warning right here, not the complete code, so don't copy and paste this into your development environment. It's not going to work. But we have person per one is equal to new person Ransika. So that's the person's name right here. But you see that new, which designates this as an instance variable and not some other type of variable. So that's a good example of an instance variable. Last are class variables. Class variables are also known as static variables and are declared with a static keyword in a class, but outside a method, constructor, or a block. So it's very similar to instance variables when it comes to where it can be used. There would only be one copy of each class variable per class, regardless of how many objects are created from it. And static variables are rarely used other than being declared as constants, meaning that they never change in value. Static variables can be accessed by calling with the class name. For instance, class name.variable name. So you have your class name, whatever it is, and then a period, and then your variable name. So if your variable was called apple and your class was called fruit, you would type in fruit.class to call upon that variable. And class variables are very useful when you want a very static value, so something that wouldn't ever change, that you want to call upon over and over and over again. That's when you use a class variable, so it doesn't change and it's very unlikely to be changed by any of your functions. And here's a good example of your class or static variable. You have your public class, employee. Salary variable is a private static variable here. Down here is a better example. The department is a constant. So right here you see you have a string, public static final string of department, and that's going to be your constant, and that's going to be the variable in the end. So that's a good example of a class/static variable. And that's all we have today for our quick introduction to Java variables, but stay tuned for more tutorials on Java and other programming languages. Thank you.